My husband is currently on vacation with his mistress, and I'm gonna confront them.
So in today's video, Gina Tumasi here, your favorite sex nurse practitioner, coming at you with another tea on dusty men and how to recognize the red flags, how to minimize, should I stay, should I go, should I stay, should I go, oh my gosh, should I go, is it trauma bonding, is it codependency, am I losing myself, what are my goals, is this a partnership, what is this? You're in a marriage, you're in a relationship, you're fiancéed up, but you're just so confused. Let me spare you the time. Well, besides that, just follow me for more videos like that. Give me a like, give me a share. Let's follow. Let's normalize healing from trauma, healing from crappy childhood, narcissistic abuse, chaotic, inconsistent, confusing situationships. You don't even call it relationship, situationships. Oh my gosh. But anyway, this lady here, I love her so much. She's spilling her tea on how she caught her husband cheating, living college, on all the steps that she took to make it cool. Like, girls, sometimes you gotta spare yourself the mindset of, oh, I gotta be, a good girl, a nice girl. Nice girls, like, they eat last. They eat the crumb. They'll give you breadcrumbs, okay? Don't be afraid to sometimes be messy. And when they're gonna go low, Michelle Obama said we go high, but sometimes they go low. Get lower. Get petty as hell. But I love her. I love her strategy with what she did. She went to the resort. Listen to the story. Leave me in the comment if you have had any experiences like that. If you heard any experiences like that, a partner was cheating and you were so not caught up in your feelings, getting into fights, trying to chase the woman down, trying to get, like, I have had clients who literally have gone to jail because their emotions got the best out of them because that man was cheating. He's cheating. Just being okay with the fact that, hey, he's sweet sharp, he's cheating. Love yourself enough to be like, okay, you do your best you can to try to salvage it, yes. Especially recovering people pleasers like myself, recovering pick me women, whatever, but recognize when one or two, and you be like, okay, you get a cutoff at 2 and that's it, I'm walking away. Preserve yourself, respect yourself, preserve your dignity like she did, but make sure you get what you need. This is why it's so important to get that paperwork, okay? You don't have that paperwork as a wife, what she did would not have been possible. And if possible, if you have something, asset, before you get into it with a new man, make sure you got that prenup signed. And make sure you put that clause in about cheating, because a lot of men be having wandering eyes, sparkling eyes, okay? As a woman who was married for over a decade now, being in this dating, I'm calling so much data. Juicy data. Juicy men who are married and chasing after a new booty, okay? It's all about sex, selfishness, and it's all about status, new shiny things. This is why these men get old, whatever, they shiny, old cars, they shiny, get new motorcycles, new cars, new weekend car, day car, golf car, whatever, okay? But we gotta center ourselves as men do. But the only way to do that is to love yourself enough to detach, to center yourself, to work on yourself, your physical health, your mental health, heal your crappy childhood, your attachment issues, and how you come off, and to prioritize yourself, and to know that there's abundance, and embrace abundance, embrace hope, embrace you, love you, reparent, it's all the stuff. Follow me for more videos like this. But she put it down so good. I was hooked to her videos, doing laundry, doing dinner, cooking. I was listening the whole time, and I hope you get hooked to it just like I did, and leave me a comment. But girls, ladies, we have to be centered so much that when you see your boyfriend, your fiance, your husband cheating, you don't get yourself into crazy mode where you are the one ending up in jail. But you find strategies such as she did, similarly or the same way, or whatever your story is, and you lay it down so much that you walk away with dignity and a smile. Okay, bye.
My husband is currently on vacation with his mistress, and I'm gonna confront them. My husband's always had a lot of work trips. Little did I know that work trips were code for an excuse he can use to go see his married coworker halfway across the country without his wife finding out. I wish I could say the way I found out about his affair was that I did some super sleuthing. No, my husband is just an idiot. Last month, my husband sent me a screenshot of an Amazon order he placed for new clothes for himself. And at the very bottom of the screenshot, I saw that there was an order for women's clothes that were not my style. And when I looked at the name of who it was being sent to, I saw that it was his work wife. Something did not sit right with me about that. So I immediately went and checked his email and his search history, and it was right there, laid out in front of me, the entire affair. That November leadership conference he was supposed to go to for his job, yeah, no, that was a romantic getaway. Like, I should have known. Who would even want him at a leadership conference? He's a freaking loser. Oh, but this business trip he left for today, it's luxurious. It is a spa vacation with couples massages and cooking classes and monogrammed robes from Etsy. He always told me he thought monograms were tacky, but I guess people change. And has this man ever taken me to a spa? No. The most romantic place we've been to in the last year is a Buffalo Wild Wings. And listen, I love Buffalo Wild Wings, but they do not offer couples massages. So when I found this out last month, I was hurt, devastated, angry, all of the feelings that you feel. But I kept it together and I didn't say anything because if that man's gonna cheat on me, I'm gonna get my revenge. For the past month, I have been my husband's idea of the perfect wife. Betty Crocker who? I was making a new pastry every single day, okay? Honestly, I've gotten really good. I should start a little bakery or something. I was doting over him like he wasn't a lying, cheating loser. But today's the day. Today he left for his work trip and the month I put into biting my tongue, it's gonna pay off. My flight leaves in a few hours because I booked a room at the same romantic resort as they're in. Okay. I mean, I have to get used to that joint bank account before the divorce. Buckle up, because here's the plan. I found the itinerary of what my husband and his mistress are going to be doing on the trip. So at a time when they're getting a couples massage or doing something where they're going to be out of the room for a while, I'm going to go to the concierge and say that I need an extra key to me and my husband's hotel room. Now, I literally have a credit card with his name on it, so I don't think it's going to be an issue getting an extra key. Then, I'm going to go into their room, and I'm going to use the month's worth of evidence I've compiled, which includes credit card receipts, photos, emails, everything. And I'm going to tape them all around the hotel room. And right in the middle, I'm going to tape up the divorce papers that I've already signed. Right next to them, his mistress's husband's divorce paper that he signed. Now, he didn't want to go all the way to the resort with me, but he was in on it. I'm also going to tape up the cheating clause that's in our prenup because I'm going to remind him that he just lost a lot of money. And then the next day, little do they know, we're all doing group yoga together. I love having his itinerary. This man has underestimated me for the last time, and he's about to pay for my entire spa retreat.
I caught my husband sleeping with my house girl. And I'm not ready to even send my house girl packing. Story time. Some of you men are very irritating. Ha! Some of you men cannot take quarter of what you're dishing out to your wives. Imagine your wife is sleeping with the gate man or the driver and you caught her. How would you feel? Do you think women are superhumans? They also have feelings, okay? Put yourself to check. Some of you are so loose and irresponsible. So she said this night she was just sleeping. She's a deep sleeper. And for some reason, women instincts. She turned her hand, see the husband. Like, where this man go? He checked toilet, see the man. He went downstairs, he did not see the man. And she was hearing some sound in the maid's room. And she went to peep. He said, Coco, lo and behold, my husband is knocking this girl without condom. Hey, God. He said, Coco, when I see my husband, I feel like spitting on his face. So shameless. A man of that standard. He said, my husband is in a very high position in this country. And look at what he's doing with a little maid. He said, Coco, this man will knock me almost every day. So it's not like he's sexually starved. So the husband has been begging that please, that she should forgive him, that he will never do it again. He said, Coco, that one is not my business because I cannot send my maid packing. I have 4 kids and this girl is actively taking care of my children. And this girl, I'm treating her as my own family. My husband cannot help me, but this girl can. And it's very hard to find a good nanny. So I'm not going to let this girl go because of my husband. So she later confronted the maid when the husband was not around, that the husband sometimes travel because of busy schedule, work schedule, whatever, and the husband can leave the house for 2 weeks and so yeah, they always spend time together with the maid. So you now ask the maid, why did you do this? And the maid said that the husband caught her having sex with the security, and the husband said if she does not give him, that he's going to report her to the wife and the wife will sack her. And this girl is from a very poor background and never want to leave the family. So just to sustain her job, she just go open leg for the husband. And she said that was her first time doing it. And she was even crying. While the husband was mounting her, she was crying. So me, I was like, so you're sleeping with a security in this compound? I've been giving you 2 days off. Every month I give you 2 days off to just go to your family, have your time and come back. And the only person that is worthy of your body is the security in the compound. He said, Coco, me, I cannot sack her because I'm not ready to start looking for a good nanny. This girl has been with us for over 3 years. He said, Coco, I never knew that my husband has been eyeing her. Or is it because of the scene he saw with the security and he wanted to have his own share? I don't even know what it is. But Coco, I will not sack this girl. But still, I need advice on how to go about it. If I should let the girl go or I should let her stay. Since my husband is not always at home because of busy schedule. My husband can go off for like 2 weeks and come back 2 weeks and all of that. So what would you guys advise? The maid should stay or the maid should go? They have promised never to do it again. But me, this kind of promise, me, I don't believe I'm sure. But whatever. Some of you men are very shameless. That's what I can say. Very shameless. Just imagine your wife is sleeping with the security guard or your driver. How will you feel?
Y'all didn't seriously think I was going to leave you hanging on this one, did you? Of course not. I have an update. If you haven't seen part 1, go watch that. But to catch everybody up, I learned that my husband was having an affair and was going to be going on a romantic resort weekend with his mistress. So I decided to confront them and go to the same resort. As I'm on the way to the airport, I get a call from somebody I did not expect to hear from, which was my husband's mistress's husband. And he told me that he's changed his mind and he actually decided that he wanted to come along to the resort and see the revenge happen firsthand, which was so exciting for me. I said, do not even worry about it, babe. I will book you a room on my husband's card because, again, he deserves it. He's the worst. You know what I mean? So, he owes you too. He's having an affair with your wife. He owes you a nice little weekend. Now, for the sake of the story, we're going to call my husband's mistress's husband Jack because husband's mistress's husband, that's a mouthful, okay? I made sure that me and Jack's rooms were both on the opposite ends of my husband and his mistress's room. So we were really just sandwiching them in for the weekend. As soon as I got to the resort, I went right up to my room to hide because the worst thing that could happen is my husband or his mistress seeing me before this whole plan commenced. It would have ruined everything. So I kind of hid in my room until Jack arrived. And when he did, our plan began because he brought all of his evidence of his wife's affair. So we had a ton of papers that we were ready to hang all around their room. I saw in their itinerary that they had lunch planned and then a couples massage. So we didn't have a lot of time, but we had about 2.5 hours, which was more than enough for us to get our plan into action. I go down to the concierge and I play the little damsel in distress role. I'm like, I am so sorry to bother you, but I must have misplaced the key to me and my husband's hotel room. And I am just so embarrassed about it. He is always saying I'm losing things and I don't want him to know I lost it. Is there any way that you could just get me another key? Honestly, it was kind of concerning how easily I was able to get a key to their room. He just asked for the name on the room. I told him it was my husband's name. I showed him a credit card with my husband's name on it, and I showed him my ID, which had our shared last name, and he printed me a copy. And that's where our plan really took off, because we went into my husband and his mistress's room and we started taping all the evidence to the walls. Obviously, right in the center were those signed divorce papers and the prenup with the cheating clause that showed that my husband was going to lose a ton of money based on this little affair. Knowing about the affair for a month before doing this helped so much because I was already desensitized to the whole thing. So I was really just enjoying the plan rather than being sad about it. After we were done hanging all the evidence on the walls, we went back to my hotel room to patiently wait for them to return. And we knew when they did, based on his mistress's loud shriek. Now remember, our hotel rooms were right next to theirs, so we could hear everything that was going on. We couldn't hear exactly word for word what they were saying, but we could tell there was a lot of commotion. And within 3 minutes of them getting back, they were blowing up both of our phones. My husband was calling me, his mistress was calling Jack over and over and over, and we were living it up. It was hilarious. We finally decide that I should be the one to answer, so I pick up the phone when my husband calls for the a millionth time, and I'm just cool, calm, and collected, and I'm like, hey babe, what's up? How's your work trip? And he's like, Kels, what is going on? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, don't play dumb with me. And I was like, what? Oh, are you talking about the surprise I left you in your room? Yeah, I thought that was really cute, right? And then he starts, this is all a misunderstanding. You have no idea what's going on. I was like, it's obviously not a misunderstanding. Did you see all the evidence? Like, it's all right there. Like, this is clearly not a misunderstanding, but it's cute. You're still trying to argue and gaslight me. Aw, like our entire marriage. Then he's like, when I find out what employee helped you put all these things up, I'm going to make sure they're fired. And that's when I realized he doesn't think I'm actually there. He thinks that I worked with somebody at the resort and they went in and hung all that stuff up. This was way more fun than I thought. I said, babe, you know what you always tell me? If you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. And that's when the line goes dead silent. And when he starts talking again, I can hear the panic in his voice. He's like, Kels, don't mess with me right now. You're home, right? I know you have to be home. Like, you're home, right? And I was like, babe, calm down. I just thought it wasn't fair that you were gonna get a nice little resort weekend and I wasn't. I was like, don't worry, babe. I'm sure you'll see me around. It's not that big of a resort. And just so you know, I'm staying an extra 3 days so that you have time to get home and move all your stuff out of our house before I get home. Then I hung up and blocked his number. Part 1 of our plan went perfectly, but part 2 of the plan, ruining their entire weekend, that had just started. I'm back with the update you've all been waiting for. Do I look refreshed? Do I look rested? My husband's not. If you haven't seen the first 2 parts of this story time, go watch those first and then come back here. But to catch everybody up, I found out that my husband was having an affair and he was going to be going on a resort spa weekend with his mistress. So me and his mistress's husband, Jack, showed up at the resort, put the evidence of the affair all over their hotel room, and now we're ready to be even more petty for the entire weekend. So at this point, my husband's mistress still has no idea that her husband, Jack, is there. They just think that I'm the one that did all of this, and Jack's not answering any of her calls. We decided that even though they can know I'm there, he needs to be a surprise, okay? We need some kind of surprise factor still. I was worried that they were gonna go home right after they walked into their hotel room and saw all the evidence on the walls, but I know my husband and he's a petty man and he hates to lose. He would see leaving the resort because I showed up as losing, so I knew that he was gonna stay and he was gonna try to prove that he didn't even care that I was there. At this resort, you have to reserve private cabanas by the pool, so I went down to the concierge, gave them my husband's name, and said I wanted to reserve the cabana right next to theirs. Be so fun to spend the weekend pooling together. But that's not all. A little backstory is that me and my husband live in the city that his company's headquarters is in. So about a year ago, they flew in a ton of their employees from other states to go to this work conference in their headquarter building, which is how he met his work wife and now mistress. And the wild part is I met his mistress that weekend too, because I went to one of his work events on that weekend and she was hanging around him the whole time. But at this work event, I got really cold and she offered to give me her cardigan that she was wearing. I thought it was so nice at the time. Yeah, it doesn't seem so nice anymore. But at the end of the night when I got home, I realized I completely forgot to give it back to her and she was flying back halfway across the country the next day. So I just had her cardigan. I can't think of a better time to return it to her. Now remember, I knew exactly when they were going to the pool because I had their itinerary. So about 30 minutes after I assumed they would be arriving at the pool, me and Jack made our grand entrance. This was the first time that either of them had actually seen us since we showed up, and they both looked like they were about to projectile vomit everywhere. It was incredible, a beautiful sight. I plopped my stuff right down on the cabana next to theirs. I'm like, this is insane. Y'all are at this cabana. What are the odds? This is so exciting. We get to just hang by the pool, talk, like really get to know each other. This woman's face, priceless. I look at my husband's mistress and I'm like, I cannot believe you cheated on Jack. He's really good looking. Like, kind of let a good one get away. Oh, and that made her mad. Yeah, that made her mad. She started getting angry tears in her eyes for sure. Like, girly, what are you getting mad about? I thought we were doing wife swap. Isn't that what we're up to? My husband keeps trying to get me to like go and talk to him somewhere. He's like, come on, Kels, come on. Like, let's go. We need to talk. And I was like, what? I'm with my friends. I'm busy. Stop it. That's when I reach into my beach bag, grab the cardigan, and I'm like, girl, I am so sorry. I totally forgot to give this back to you. I hate taking what's not mine. And that's the point that my husband took his mistress by the arm and walked them off. But I wasn't done, because a few hours later was sunset group yoga. Jack and I made sure to get there a little bit before them so that when they walked up, they saw us sitting there. We were like, guys, come on, like, come sit by us. They did not end up attending group yoga. It was really fun though, okay? They kind of missed out. But this last part is my personal favorite. I knew the two of them had a really romantic dinner reservation. So, while they went out to dinner, me and Jack decided to order room service. But not to our room. Do not ask me why my husband did not decide to get new key cards for the room, but it still worked when I tried to let us in. Jack and I made ourselves comfy in their hotel room, bought an insane amount of room service, and put a little movie on the TV. I wish I could frame the image of the two of them walking back into their hotel room, arm in arm, seeing me and Jack having the time of our life, just vibing in their hotel room. My husband starts screaming at Jack, being like, this is ridiculous, you need to get out of here. And I was like, hey, don't talk to my man like that. Then his mistress starts screaming at me, which I was just laughing. Like, I couldn't take it seriously. Like, at this point, it felt just like a movie. I was like, you know what? I'm so here for the plot right now. And that's when my husband goes, you know what? This is ridiculous. I'm done. Looks at his mistress and he's like, grab your stuff. We're leaving. I watched them pack up their stuff and leave the hotel room. I learned a few hours later from a very angry text I got from my husband that he literally changed their flights and they left. They fully ended their weekend early. I won. But I still had like 4 days of a resort vacation. So I turned my phone off and I spent the rest of the week just having the time of my life. And while my husband was sulking, packing all of his stuff up and moving out of our home, I was getting a really nice tan.